Hey guys, Brian delivers you the goods here. I'm returning to you today for a Tuesday album review. This is for season 5, episode 9 for season 5, episode 9 for Tuesday album reviews for Rascal Flatts' second studio album, Melt, that I got a chance to check out myself, which I've heard this album many times. I just wanted to give my personal take on what I think of this country rock band as a whole, because I did review their self-titled back in late July. Definitely go check out episode 2 of season 5, because that's the episode it was on. So I'm going to discuss what I listened to for Melt for these 11 songs for a 40-minute runtime, and let you know my thoughts on Rascal Flatts' second studio album, Melt. So let's dive into this album review. Now, it starts with These Days, which was a very popular song when it hit the radio and all that. Excuse me, I was eating some lunch, so it's kind of lunchtime doing this video. Basically, I really did enjoy this track. It's pretty well done, well produced. Basically, Gary Lee Vox's vocals sound really good in it, and just the overall background vocals from Joe Don Rooney sound really good, so 5 out of 5. Too Good Is True is the next song, the regular song for this album. I think it was pretty good with how it's sounding. They're more soft country rock mostly, so you're not going to be expecting much with this band. If this is not the artist or band for you, you'd have to find something else in the country rock genre or whatever. I personally like Rascal Flatts. I grew up with Rascal Flatts, so basically I really enjoy the kind of style they go for. And give me a second, guys, gotta pause the video. Sorry about that, guys. This cat wanted in my room for a moment, so I don't know, he's just being a pain. Someone, aren't you Titan? Basically, with what I basically listened to for Too Good Is True, I really like this track and how it sounds overall, so giving it a 5 out of 5. Then comes the I Melt song, and that was a pretty strong track for what it went for. I like Gary Lee Vox's vocals in it. His vocals are shining in this track for how it's sounding overall, so really digging that about the song. So 5 out of 5 for this one too. It sounded really good vocally, and drum and guitar work, it sounded really good. Then comes Mayberry. I like the pre-chorus to this track. It's actually pretty well done with how the lyrics are sounding and how Gary is singing the track. And chorus is pretty catchy too. It's a very fun song to sing along to. Very popular too. This got very popular when I think this was their most highly well-received album. So I'd give this a 5 out of 5 for Mayberry. I really like this song and how it's sounding overall, and Gary Lee Vox's vocals, and Joe Don Rooney singing in the background, and Jay and all that singing in the background too. Sounding really good. And sorry, this cat is being annoying to my sister's cat, so aren't you Titan? Next song is Love You Out Loud. This was another single. Unfortunately, Mayberry wasn't a single. I mean, it was probably a radio single for a time, but they never made a music video for it, which I think they should have, because this was a pretty catchy track. Love You Out Loud's pretty good. I like how the song is sounding overall with Gary Lee Vox's vocals, and the background vocals from Joe Don Rooney and Jay sound pretty good too. So really digging this track, 5 out of 5. Then comes Dry County Girl. This is where the regular songs come in for the rest of the album, and My Worst Fear was the last song to have it be a single and all that. So Dry County Girl's pretty good. I like how it's sounding overall with Gary Lee Vox's vocals and just the overall production and how the song is sounding symphonically. It's doing pretty well. I wouldn't say there's any sense. It's just how it's sounding is what's keeping me hooked to the song. So 5 out of 5. Like I Am is pretty mellow, but it sounds really good with how Gary is singing the track. I really like that aspect about the song where it just goes into the chorus and it sounds pretty nice and soothing. So it's a slow country rock song, mellow one too, but it's pretty well received of a good track. So 5 out of 5. You is a pretty catchy song. I wouldn't say it's that catchy, but it sounds really nice and catchy at times. But I really do like this song for what it goes for. So pretty much 5 out of 5. And the backing vocals from Joe Don Rooney sound really good, singing along with Gary and all that. So really liking that. 5 out of 5. Falling Upside Down is a pretty good track. It is like 2 minutes and 34 seconds, so you're not in for a very long track, but it is well worth the listen. So for the runtime it goes for, it's not very long, like I said, but it's pretty good. 5 out of 5. Shine On is a solid track. I wasn't sure if I was hooked to this track too much, but I think it was alright. There's some pitches that I don't know if I can get behind in this song. It kind of tarnish how the track is sounding, in my opinion, but it's a nice song. It's just not my personal favorite because of certain vocal pitches and how it sounds. So 4.5 out of 5. My Worst Fear is the final track and was, I guess, the last single for this album. Pretty good song. It's a nice way to end the album, pretty much. So really digging this track for the closing track, so 5 out of 5. Overall, production, mixing, and execution-wise, I think Rascal Flatts I Melt was probably one of my favorite Rascal Flatts albums. If I'm being honest, it's really good. I was really surprised with how many hit songs they had in this album, and it was pretty well worth the listen of an album. So, highly recommend you check this Rascal Flatts album, Melt. Check it out mostly to see what you think of it. If you're not into the country rock stuff, then that's fine. I personally like what the band goes for. They're very diverse and try to do new things with their music mostly. But they try to stick to the original roots with the country rock sounding stuff and all that. But I think they were a pretty good band. They did call it quits in 2021, which it's a shame, but I guess everyone has to move on sometime. So for a score for me, I'm giving Rascal Flatts' second studio album, Melt, 9.5 out of 10. Pretty good album. Highly recommend you check this album out by Rascal Flatts if you haven't listened to it. And this is the Tuesday album review I wanted to do this week for this certain album. Next week will be a pretty heavy album. I'll be checking out more metalcore kind of stuff, so definitely tune into that. 9.5 out of 10 for Rascal Flatts Melt and their second studio album, Melt. Hope you guys enjoyed this Tuesday album review, and thank you guys for watching.